Am I the asshole for allowing my mom to visit my and my wife's house against my wife's wishes? My mom is a nightmare, and she's always disrespecting people's boundaries while also being entitled. She never liked my wife, not for any serious reason other than the fact that I got married and she couldn't stand seeing me moving away from her.
Uh-oh.
My wife gave birth 3 weeks ago to our healthy baby girl. My mom insisted she wanted to be in the delivery room, but my wife only wanted me and her mom in there. But my mom was in the hospital lobby screaming about how she deserves to experience the birth of her grandchild.
Sounds like a very calming way to come into the world.
This lady's on
Can you
Hinge.
imagine if someone's screaming in the lobby, "Let me in!" You're like, I am giving birth right now.
I would be calling a code gray and getting security to take her the hell out of there. Get away from me. Whenever
Code gray. Is that like
gray.
hospital speak?
It's combative person.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Code silver, they got a weapon.
Really?
Yeah. Code pink, missing baby. Code purple, missing
Missing
kid.
baby.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Baby napper.
Is it usually like the dad? Is that what it...
It can be, or it could be a mother-in-law. Crazy,
Oh my
crazy
God.
grandma coming in.
You know what the first thing that came to mind is, and you might be too young, like Kindergarten Cop.
I love that movie.
Right?
It was so good.
With the kid and with the fire alarm.
Yep.
I just immediately
Arnold.
I'm thinking of that guy with the bad ponytail dragging a kid around a place
Yeah.
with the rain coming down from like the
You just reminded me. My boyfriend's never seen it, so I gotta put that on our list officially. It's
oh
so
my
good.
God, you gotta say, yeah,
It's a classic.
The principal who's strict but fair. Mm-hmm. Yeah, love it.
Whenever my mom visited our house, she would always nitpick everything and judge my wife for being a horrible housewife and claimed she'd be a bad mom as well. Since those remarks, my wife has lost her temper and doesn't want my mom to visit again. And I understand why.
My wife has lost her temper? I think rightfully so.
Yeah. Nobody would like to be humiliated in their own home, so I understand why. After my wife has given birth, they kept the baby in the hospital to monitor her for a few days. My wife recovered at home. We got our baby girl back home eventually, and the grandparents wanted to meet her. My wife said she'll only be okay with my mom visiting this once for the baby, as long as she doesn't make any remarks. My mom promised she wouldn't be out of line, but as soon as she stepped on our porch, she started commenting on our front yard not being clean and that my wife is ridiculous for not cleaning it before the baby got here. My wife lost...
Just had her vagina get ripped apart.
Yes.
And she's like, get in the yard.
This woman is delusional.
Ay.
My wife lost her temper and said that she lost every visiting privilege from now on and will take the baby to her house to meet her once we feel like it. It's been almost 2 weeks and my in-laws have met the baby, so had my father. My mom still hasn't, and my wife doesn't want her to see her and won't let the baby out of her house yet because she's only a couple days old. My wife had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I stayed home with the baby. I saw this as a chance to invite my mom over to see the baby, as long as she kept it a secret. She came over, and I told her we have roughly 2 hours before my wife comes back. My mom then wouldn't leave, no matter how many times I tried to convince her. My wife came home and saw my mom there cuddling the baby, and she had a full mental breakdown and started screaming at me and she told me to get the fuck out of the house. I told my wife to shut the fuck up and calm down, and it's also my house and my kid, and if I want my mom to meet my effing kid at my effing house, she can't forbid me from doing it, and she has no right to kick my mom out. That led to her kicking me out too. And now I'm staying at my parents until my wife calms down. Am I the asshole for bringing my mom at my house to meet my daughter against my wife's wishes, or is my wife the one being unreasonable?
This is probably the toughest one of all. I think he's an asshole.
I agree. 1,000%.
Yeah. I think here's the problem. It's not about the baby. It's about you won't talk to your mom. Like
no boundaries.
It seems like he is trying to work this out on the fly. There's a point where, like, listen, at every point in this, he can go to his wife, I got to go talk to my mom. I got to let her know. And that's you have to take your wife's side at a certain point. Like, you're with your wife, you guys are a team.
Yeah.
Your mom is making things hard on the team, not just her. Like, this isn't, the mom yelling at her, she's yelling at both of you. Like, I don't think this guy takes enough ownership of his own home.
Not at all.
Like the front yard, she's talking about your front yard.
Why is it on her?
Yeah, well, you let the front yard get bad. So why aren't you taking, you can't just sit there with the popcorn watching your mom and her fight all day.
Because that's her precious baby boy.
Yeah, well, mothers and sons are weird. It's weird. The whole relationship's weird. And it's like, because like what happens is you're the look of what they fell in love with. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you're like at a certain age, you become like a version of what they decided to marry.
And that's on enmeshment.
It's what?
It's called enmeshment. It's when like a parent has almost like an incestuous relationship with a child, and like not sexually,
sure,
but like emotionally, they almost look at their child as like a partner, and they groom their child to what they would want a partner to be.
Yes.
And then they get mad when they're the ones that can't reap the rewards.
I mean, this is what it sounds like here.
Case in point.
Yeah. I mean, like, because he never in this story does he say, I sat her down and we had to talk about this.
No, he has no idea how to draw boundaries at all.
No. And even the way he talks about the wife, he's like semi-blaming her. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, he's like, she had an emotional breakdown. How about she was attacked, like by someone who's being a monster?
Yeah.
Like the idea that he didn't go to the lobby, she's giving birth. Like, there's your opportunity. Go to the lobby and go, hey, we got to sit. Mm-hmm. Like, not everything has to be a screaming match. Let's negotiate here. What do you need out of this? Here's what I need out of this. And that's what with people in your life, it's all negotiations. If you're your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, here's how how do we make both parties happy? You want to see your grandkid? Well, here are my needs. If you can't fulfill those needs, then we're going to have to ask you to go.
Yeah.
And he never does that because he doesn't want to take any side.
No. And so this was like, someone copied his post and reposted it on another subreddit called Am I the Devil? Basically, they go through the Am I the Asshole, and they pick the ones that are like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, like you suck. And so they labeled it, worst husband comes with an extra long umbilical cord. Because like, there's nothing like, if my mom, like, if I was giving birth and my mom, like, granted my mom would be there, but like, I would expect, if this was me, I would expect my partner to go downstairs and be like, you need to calm down. Sit patiently. Morgan does not want you to see her tear from vagina to asshole. Like, it's a very difficult situation. And like, I think the best phrase I've heard about it is like, birth is not a spectator sport.
No.
Like, this is a very vulnerable, intimate moment. Things go wrong.
Listen, I'm not going to be there. I'll pick her up about a week later. I'll be on vacation. I'll be down in Cancun.
Talk about a good partner.
Yeah,
huh?
no, listen, I would want her to have her privacy and for me to enjoy the week. I got I got fatherhood coming up. I got to relax.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least that's better than the guys that ask, like, hey, honey, do you care if I just, like, lay in the bed for a little bit?
Lay in the bed?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I'll FaceTime. I'm FaceTiming with, like, a margarita in my hand. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, my God. Yeah, childbirth scares the shit out of me.
Scares the shit out of me.
It's tough, but I think this lady is completely unhinged. I think he needs to get it together.
No, I agree with his wife kicking him out. Like,
yeah.
you kicking him out is actually the best thing. Go talk to your mom. Figure this shit out.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a third. The wife is more of a third party than he wants to believe. He's not making her the third party. He's making her, it's wife versus mom. No. It's you versus mom.
Yep. I feel like we're all responsible for our parents. It's not our partner's job to like constantly have confrontation or put our parents in their place, so to speak. It's like, you need to talk to your parents. I'll talk to mine. Like, you're more comfortable being able to tell them to like calm down.
I've had lesser versions of this.
Really?
Where you like, and had to say, hey, mom, what the fuck?
Same.
Cut the shit.
Yeah.
So and that's not a fun conversation either. So I do understand why it's hard for him.
Yeah.
Let me say that for him. The one thing I'll say is this is not easy, but this has gotten out of control. And sometimes it makes it easier to approach people when it has gotten out of control.
Yeah.
You're like, you were screaming in a lobby. Okay, can we admit things have gone off the rail? Now let's bring it back and have a conversation.
You have the perfect example to be like, you were so unhinged. This is why you've lost privileges.
TTT. Time to talk.
like, what? I like that. Okay. So top comment on the original post with 52,000 upvotes. You're the asshole. You just described all the horrible ways your mother treats your wife and still went behind your wife's back on this to satisfy your mom. The baby is days old, but you couldn't wait another week or something? Mommy wanted it now, and mama's boy complied.
See, this is the problem, though. I hate this stuff. This
The mama's
is what
boy?
everyone always does this whenever there's like a conflict between mom and
Throw the mama's boy
they
out
go,
there.
You mommy want me. It's like, is that a good way to like get this guy? Like, this guy's going through something too. Like, you know, like I
Definitely
mommy
is.
want a booby, you're gonna suck at the teat for the rest of your life. It's like, okay, I listen, I'm going through something. I'm an adult and I have a mom that's a monster. Can you at least like, you know, let me handle this? You know,
Yeah.
this isn't easy. It always goes that way.
They do. I think they like try to like really like shake some sense into him, but like they go on to say your wife was right to kick you out. You're acting like you're married to your mom and not her. Which if like by the way he, you know, can't recognize why his wife is upset despite all this horrible treatment. Like he recognizes the horrible treatment, but yet can't really like
But that
put it together.
response is way more constructive than does a baby need a bottle? You can't get away from it. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
No, but I agree with you. It's something needs to happen. You acknowledge something needs to happen. You're not doing anything.
For sure. I think some couples therapy, 1000%. Like if he is truly enmeshed with his mom, a lot of people don't even recognize that themselves. And it is hard to really like cut ties, break the cycle.
Sure.
So it's like a lot of the comments don't really touch on it. But he does comment a lot, apparently. Someone goes, I'm begging you to read his comments. It gets worse. He has a friend that also hates his wife because the wife didn't like how touchy they were, and he sees her behind his wife's back.
All right. Well, now
That's-
divorce.
Divorce!
Yeah,
Give him the D!
End it. It's over.
Well, wish her the best. Hopefully he can
Yeah,
grow
I
from
wish
this.
him some therapy.
I agree. He needs some help addressing his mother if he cannot do this on his own. The fact that she didn't leave, she got 2 hours, and the fact that he couldn't get her to leave and she refused.
That's again one of those. It makes it easier. You go, hey, do you see an issue here? You knowingly came over with a time limit because my wife hates you and you hate her,
yeah.
and you couldn't leave. Like you couldn't even negotiate with me. So where, you know, to me, you have to cut ties with that mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like you couldn't even respect the boundary that we all agreed. You hate each other. So I found a way you to see your new grandkid. And then you railroaded me.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
She just like
See, to me, the mom's the
wrecked it.
asshole.
Absolutely.
Like it's more than him. He's going to take the blame because
he's
he didn't handle
enabling.
it. Yeah,
Well,
he's
yeah.
enabling. But thinking of that situation, you're like, he's like, he's been fucked up by her.
yeah.
And now he's trying to work through it by like, okay, I'll have you over under the cover of night. And then she doesn't even allow that. It's like, this is like
Yeah.
mommy dearest shit.
It is just deranged. I think at this point, like this has to be the final straw. Like the straw that broke the camel's back. Like this is, you either have a choice, you save your marriage or enjoy living with your parents.
That's it. That's
like
those
the
are
point.
The 2 choices.
Yeah, because just going behind her back, like she would have been, it sounded like she offered to like take her, like the baby to his mom's house eventually. It just like the time that they wanted it. Like she's only a couple weeks old. Give her a minute to heal.
It's not even like, it's hilarious. These are all like, the problem isn't the problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
It's deeper.
She didn't even respect him enough to like give her the secret time. He tried.
Mm-hmm.
He did try.
Yeah.
In the way he best knew how to try.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think that was like, sneaking her in like a Trojan horse. I don't think that's a good way to go.
No.
But I do think he did. Like, this guy's like mentally incapable because he
Yeah.
was brought up by someone who's mentally incapable. Like, she's the asshole.
100%.